so so you actually reached out to me to I joined like one or two webinars of like these discussions happening, no? And
Yes.
then one of the webinars, by the way, was katong the one that was held by katong Pasig.
Yes,
Onya,
that was really good. Yeah. So
that was
that was
really good.
August 10. Yes, yes.
Yeah, that was really good. Number one, like it seems like it's so cool. Number one, that they had an office in charge of that. They put
Yes,
those
yes. It's
resources,
really
good.
cool.
And then you had like, diba, like kita nobody even we don't even know who to approach, diba? But
Yes,
sila,
yes.
they have an office good nga in charge of like what was it like kanang
Uh,
transportation or
yes.
yeah.
Actually, it's called Pasig Transport.
Mm,
But it's not just transport, but it's basically also covers sustainable transportation.
yes.
They really planned it out from policy to social media posts. It's really interesting, and to have a local an LGU for reference for benchmarking, it's really nice because makita na pwede diri sa Cebu because Pasig is also doing it.
Yeah, the well, what I found encouraging about it was that webinar was also there were people from the local LGUs here, ba, and then that they were
Yes,
actually looking at it because, of course, like for so many years, no, there are no bike lanes, good, so you cannot expect the people here to know what to do, and then like for example, so I like to commend like Mandawi and Talisay. Like, at least
yes,
they did it
yes,
right away. They
yes.
just they painted
Line.
they just painted a line on the floor. Diba? But like
Alisa
nako
is
na
line
kay
is even blue.
yeah, I know, diba? Yeah, like nako na kay tabang, but like I went to the Talisay bike lane a few days ago. And yeah, we're like, wow, there's a lot of room for improvement in all honesty. Right? But like the one of the issues with Talisa is that like they along their main road there's lots of
Bicycles.
sections that don't have sidewalks.
Yes.
So the people really walk on the road.
Yes.
And then of
Yes.
course in a way it's good na gani. So it's also safer for the pedestrian because they're going on the bike lane. But ikaw, who's supposed to be on the bike lane, there's a pedestrian there, di ka higit ka sa tao, di ba? But
Oh. Oh.
yun na lang, it's one step more to like towards the pedestrian, but because actually the pedestrian should be the one that is most
Yes. Yes.
by
Yes. But
Nara.
oh, nara nara.
Okay.
So
Sige.
so
Morning
talisay na
problema.
tato.
Yeah, so
Oh.
pero at least na so yeah, but also at the same time katong you invited me to the webinars, I realized nga kanang in a way frustrating sad kaayo because naka-imagine
Yes.
ko nga murag I guess this is how it gets done. Kagets ka? Like,
Yes. Yes. Daghan kay agian.
oh, can you talk about that, by like, so who reached out to you? You guys made that plan for bike lanes, and then after ato, like the city just reached out to you. Who reached out to you specifically? If
Specifically, it's Cebu Leads Foundation.
okay,
It's an NGO. Basically, they're coordinating these kinds of initiatives, and then they're just a coordinating body. And then, as a coordinating body, they just pointed us to the right people to present to. So that's why we got to present to Councilor Garganera, because during that time he was just appointed as the IATF something here in Cebu. So he was the counselor to talk to. So we presented it to him, and he was all positive about it. And then at the same time, he also uses e-scooter. So on a personal level, he can relate to the advocacy. And then we also, I think, when you joined us, that was already, I think, the first webinar that I invited you. It was a presentation with the private developers, with Ayala, with SM, with the Gaisanos. And during that time, I wasn't representing BTS because I was on duty. So I was on the Ayala side,
Ah,
and then it was yes, it was actually Darren who presented for BTS. So yeah, I so the process, as mentioned earlier, there's so much people to talk to. That was one. We tried to talk to the private developers just to get their support. We also talked to the academe. We had this webinar with CIT, USC, and USJR. I think other schools, universities also joined us. I For now we're trying to gather as much support as we can. This is with Cebu leads, and then we're sort of just BTS behind the scenes. They can just call us out anytime if needed. And then another thing is regarding the plans. This is the I think this we should talk about this regarding the plans on the bike networks here in Metro Cebu. It's Mandawi who's really leading the way in terms of planning and implementation. I think just yesterday they installed a bike repair stand. I think you've seen that
oh yeah, I
already.
saw that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So in terms of planning and implementation, kudos to Mandawi. They're really doing a great job. And then Lapu-Lapu also has identified a network already. Um, I think they're looking at the circumferential road in Mactan. And then for Cebu City, there are already plans. Um, but I think they're looking at they're doing it in by phase. Phase one, they're targeting. I think it got out in the news now. They're targeting phase one this year. So hopefully it really gets done. And then
Where's gonna be
I
phase
think
one? Would you know?
phase one it's going to cross somewhere in B. Rodriguez, Fuente, Mango, and then it'll reach Cebu Business Park in Ayala, all the way up to Mabolo. It's a wide network. Actually, it can reach up to Labangon. So from Mabolo to Labangon, it's a wide loop. It'll also go downtown Colon. So further down Colon, I think near City Hall already. So it's a loop. It's a big phase one, and I think if they can pull that off, it would be really nice. And as of the moment, their discussions are they're still discussing on to whether use to have it shared or really go directly to dedicated lanes. So they're still
Mm,
assessing the road conditions and other stuffs. But I think as of the moment, it's even if it's just paint. I think that's the it's considered as a pandemic response. To have it quick, so they use paint, and then later we can just adjust and so on. Maybe we can put the barriers and all. But it's also I think it's also wrong to think that paint putting these bike lanes would immediately sort of change the mindset of the people, because this is the first time that we're doing it, and then there's a lot of things to improve. Sa unahan lang na ay ali na ay parking, or na ay tubig machine in the middle. I don't know. There's a lot of things to improve pa in our bike lane
yeah.
network.
The
In turn, yes,
Like in Talisay, there's like kind of the water drainage, kanang grills.
yes,
Nagit
yes,
siya sa kanang ba niya murag masangit ba tani mahog man tani.
yes.
No? But
Especially for
there's no
road
but
bikes.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's nice to see that that it's moving forward, but what I'm surprised is that I'm surprised na Cebu so far it's taking I mean, Cebu is taking long, but I guess it's also taking long because it might be more complicated, or I don't really know. No, okay. One of the things that when you invited me to the webinar, by one of the things na frustrated ko in a way, not because of what happened in the webinar, na frustrated ko thinking, "Marbuwa nga, if this is the process, it looks like you're just reaching out to whoever, and you have to find the one person who has the power and the will and the belief, so somebody who actually believes in the project and who's willing to
Yes.
do it, no? Okay, like, so for example, if you or I were in a position of power, for example, na automatic, di
Oo.
ba?
Oo.
Di
Mga
ba?
March pa.
But so it seems like that's what, in a way, I don't know, no, you correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like that's what you guys are doing. You're looking for that person to champion the cause. Kay, of course, obviously, what happened in Mandaue and Talisay is somebody with the responsibility and the will and the ability to actually do something. Kanang,
They
they
have it
they
done.
were,
Oh, they have it done.
yeah, bitaw, no, bike lane, sige, let's do it, yeah ba.
Yes.
So that's
Oh,
that's why na frustrated ko, because it feels like we're still looking for that person in Cebu City, no?
yes. I mean, we have a lot of good architects, engineers here, and then I think the government should just contact or tap them, and I think we can get things done if really mutuo lang jud sila. Um, I don't know what's. I think you're right in the part na we're still looking at that one who will champion these ideas because I mean, we all got into this COVID thing at the same time, but how come other municipalities are already doing it and Cebu isn't? So, I think we should really push through na with these initiatives because another thing that COVID brought to us is this chance to redesign our streets, to reimagine it, and then it would be sad if uh, like now there's talk of vaccines and everything. So once things get back to normal, not really normal, pero in a way, it would be really sad to go back into all that traffic, all that congestion. So yeah, I think this is high time to reimagine our streets. It's not for the streets are not just for cars. That's it's supposed to be for the people. So people, not everyone have their own cars in the city. I think 80% doesn't own cars. So why not give a large portion to that 80%? Why not give them other options? And I think biking is really one way of supporting these people because yeah, during the pandemic there was really a surge of cyclists. I mean everywhere. I mean, now I can see a lot of women riding their bikes, and it's
That's
really
true.
cool to look at. Yeah,
That's
it's
cool.
really
I
cool.
was I was just telling my friend this morning, buying yesterday I went to Talis. Yeah, that was yesterday. So yesterday I went to Talisa. I went up to Manipis, and and these are recreational riders, but you can see on a day-to-day basis, all you need to do is just go out in the city on a weekday, that there's a lot more bike commuters, no? But anyway, I went to Manipis yesterday, and wow, there were so many cyclists, the most cyclists I've ever seen here in Cebu. Yeah, the nice thing with Manipis is that when you're biking, you're still socially distant. Like daghan kayo
Yes,
actually, but
yes,
you're spread apart. And yeah, basta wala lang mag-congregate, then it's not a big deal. But there were so many cyclists, and a lot of women. A lot of women cyclists, good. And I don't know, it's probably safe to assume that they just bought their bike because they really needed like a way to commute, and then a lot of them just decided, you know what, lingaw man let's try going up to to Manipis, di ba?
yes, yes, yes. I think
And
that's also how I started doing bike to work. It all started. I used to be just a recreational cyclist, and then it slowly evolved into bike to work. You can squeeze in that training on weekdays instead of just having it on weekends. So I think
oh
it's
yeah,
vice versa for these people today. They bought the bike for bike to work, but they noticed that they can also use it on weekends.